we talk about diversified portfolios. It is like as old as dirt, this idea that you want to have diversified portfolios and that leads to better outcomes for individual investors. But we don't think about that same perspective of diversified people inside of corporations leading to a better outcome.
The studies show that the companies that have more diverse workplaces, more females, more people of color in their upper ranks that are more diverse actually produce better returns. And it seems to me that if we can convince more companies of that basic fact, that will be yet another incentive for companies to recruit, promote, advance people who have been disadvantaged in the workplace.
And I think our best advisors are looking for that. They're out trying to build not just multi-generational teams, but diverse teams as well, because they're realizing that the client base is multi-generational and the client base is diverse, and they need to reflect their clients in the structure of their teams.
And if leaders really understood how much diversity works in their favor, they'd be running towards it, not just thinking about it or, quote, as they like to say, working on it. I say, diversity is the only area in corporate America where you can work on it for decades, not get anything done, and keep your job. There's no other area where that is true. You can't work on earnings. You can't work on product development. You can't work on profitability and not show results and keep your job. And it reminds me, I tell people of when I was a kid in my grade school, we used to get partial credit for showing our work in math if we didn't get the right answer. Well, corporate America wants partial credit for not getting the right answer. And they have been getting partial credit, but it's the road is running out.
And you have to figure out, how do you include people? And you have to understand the nuances in that conversation. And that means bringing more people in and having some very sometimes tough conversations about the workplace, what we value, what we think. I think those conversations are happening now in my industry. They're happening now in your industry as well. And they have a tremendous opportunity to make real and tangible and lasting change.
As leaders, it's on us to find that great talent. And because we've so overlooked so many segments of the population, there's unbelievable opportunity in that talent.
We need to take out of our lexicon that there is a lack of Black or brown or Latinx talent out there and that we can't find them. I think that organizations need to be proactive. Organizations needs to be strategic. They need to approach this with intentionality. This is not work that you can sort of do off the side of your desk and think that, or work that you don't put any strategy or attention to, just like you would any other business problem, in the hopes that it would resolve itself, or in the hopes that candidates of color would automatically appear and come to you.
How do we bring new diverse advisors into the industry, whether it's any diversity at all? So having those conversations, we're going to colleges and universities and HBCUs to have that conversation. We're working very closely with campus recruiting to help students become more keenly aware of the profession of financial planning.
When it comes to culture, when it comes to diversity, when it comes to inclusion, our organizations are under a microscope by those candidates, those potential employees that are looking at us and saying, well, do I see myself reflected in this organization? Do I see people that look like me in senior leadership positions? What is the experience like? And more often than not, they are making those decisions based on those cultural and that diversity and that inclusiveness feeling for that particular organization versus the paycheck or versus the actual job opportunity, because their experience is critically important.
We did an innovation challenge. We got hundreds of ideas, and the ideas were mind-blowing, right? And I guess people are ripe for change. People want the change. So it has to be both top down, but we shouldn't underestimate, just regardless of, age or tenure within an organization, how innovative people are if they have the room for that innovation.
It's been 160 plus years since the Civil War, and the Black community is not even close to parity. I mean, you don't need to be Black to understand that. We all should have a little empathy that that's not right. It's not fair. It's been generational for a long time. Grave injustices were done. Let's acknowledge it and come up with a plan to do more. So JP Morgan, we got hundreds of people around our company and really ask, what can we do? Every part, consumer banking, we're going to have better products for lower middle income. We're going to open another 100 branches in lower middle income, majority Black neighborhoods. We're going to do affordable housing. We're going to do more for small business. I'm working on maybe we can have an investment fund. We may partner with some of this to make venture investments in the Black community. Not just for Black venture capitalists, but people who want to do something in the Black community.
I think representation, absolutely. Are people here and where are they? Those are the two questions I typically ask. So it's, yes, I may have representation. Where do they sit within the organization? What does our bench strength look like? What is the succession plan? Are people included in those succession plans, right? There's a bunch of things that are underneath that, right? Hiring, turnover, promotions, et cetera, that leads to that. But I think there's ways that we can get so bogged down and look at individual, I would consider progress metrics, so that we don't get to the real KPIs and the key performance indicators of what you're trying to do with strategy.
We're tracking every single person, whether we're doing a lot of recruiting from the outside. We're doing special programs, a lot of special schools, et cetera. And so that works. It's just work, just name by name and person by person. We include it in comp. So we're now saying, you know what, it will be included in comp. And for the first time last year, there were people who were told your comp is lower than it would have been by a certain amount because you did nothing to help. We expect everyone to help.
Assume positive intent, especially for people of color. We're going to be in these situations. People put their feet in their mouths on a regular basis. They say things sometimes where they're trying to be curious and trying to learn more that come out the wrong way. I've taken the position of assuming positive intent. I recognize part of my job is to teach, and in teaching, to help create an opportunity for people to learn more about people like me, because we know a lot more about you than you know about us, and ultimately lead to a more tolerant and better life.
I think it's about deciding you want to actually make the change. That to me, I think is the most important thing.